Samuel McDermott is a licensed professional engineer in the province of Ontario with over 24 years of engineering and project management experience in both the manufacturing and energy sectors. He holds a BA mechanical engineering degree from Ryerson University, as well as a Master's of Advanced Design in Manufacturing postgraduate degree from the University of Toronto. He's worked as a mechanical engineer and a project manager to develop highly specialized equipment for the various industries. A project manager in the automotive industry and a designer and project manager of the mechanical and fluid systems in the water industry. Sam then went on to work in the energy sector with Enbridge Gas Inc., where he has held leadership roles in engineering, project management, design, contract management, operational customer service roles for large volume customers. Sam is currently the specialist for power-to-gas programs in Enbridge's business development team. His experience is varied and extensive, covering diverse areas of the manufacturing and business sector. He's an effective communicator, highly organized, customer-focused, results-driven with a passion for what he does. His educational background and experience have enabled him to lead and manage with positive outcomes. Sam, are you here? All right, come on up, Sam. Here you go.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sam McDermott. I'm a mechanical engineer. I work with Enbridge in their business development program. As was alluded to earlier, I've held several positions at Enbridge. And what I want to talk to you about today is a little secret that we have. We do more than oil and gas. And I'm happy to be here to promote the PowertoGas program that I'm working on with Enbridge. I think we have a video that we're going to show first, after which I'll go through my presentation with you.
The work that the Savings by Design program is doing impacts the projects that it's working on. It impacts those project teams and what they know and what they can then bring to their next project. But I think it's also impacting the industry because these conversations are happening and professionals are showing up and being pushed to think outside the box. They're then taking that away, bringing that to their practice, hopefully putting that into other buildings.
The building is 2018 technology, so we have the latest and greatest features, benefits for the HVAC system, pumps, motors that are the most energy efficient possible. The entire building is LED lighting, which is the best we can get for energy usage. The refrigeration plant, as a result of the refrigeration process, we generate a lot of heat. Most places, that heat is just released to the atmosphere. Here, we use that heat to preheat the water for the ice surfacer, to preheat the water for the ship. So before they hit the boilers, they're going in warmer, therefore it's using less energy. We also use that heat pump under the bleachers to heat the stands themselves with free energy. So it's a fabulous system.
Not only is the MCC a sports facility, but we also deem it as one of our cultural hubs in this community, where we host theater series, we host big band evenings, we have artists of the month that display their artwork.
what's really is most exciting is now we've been open a year. We've initiated additional ways of conserving, and we can actually see the difference in the meter readings. And that is what we're excited about. So then, you know, we can post the hydro bill on the staff bulletin board and, you know, highlight it and congratulate the team, and they can actually see that what they're doing is paying off. I mean, bottom line is costs and savings, and the more we can save by, you know, building accordingly and improving energy proficiency, well then that gives us additional funds to do something else with the money instead of just wasting it, right?
The code only pushes us so far, and we need to be going further at this moment in time. And in a way, we can't wait for the code to catch up. So as professionals, I feel like we should be trying to get out ahead of it. And I'm grateful to the Savings by Design program for being something I can point at as an incentive to my client to say, actually, let's at least engage in the conversation for the day and see how far we get.
Okay, so thank you. I hope you enjoyed that video. What I want to do today is talk to you about PowertoGas. I'm pretty excited about it. It's an interesting thing that we're looking at Enbridge, and it's going to help us with our future. So I'm going to start off by talking about our leadership in renewable energy. Then from there, I'll talk about how we got there. I'll introduce PowertoGas to you. If you don't know about it, stay tuned. I'm going to put it in very simple terms for you so you can understand what it's about if you're hearing about it for the first time. What's the purpose? Our approach, I'll introduce you to how the approach we took to get to where we are today. And then we'll look at a brief look at the PowertoGas plant, and that's the exciting part. And then we'll talk about some opportunities, applications, what you can do with this technology, and then how we can bring hydrogen to scale. So this first slide here is just to show that when you take on projects like these, it's very important that you get buy-in from the C-suite. And at the highest level in our company, our CEO, Al Monaco, that's his belief as well. So that's a plus for us. So a little bit about Enbridge. In the green space, I'm going to call it the green space, we have leadership. We've been at this since 2002, big time. We have 19 wind farms, about 3,600 megawatts. Those wind farms power about 660 homes per year. We also have 4 solar operations, and when you look at where they are, they're scattered across North America, across Canada, down to Los Angeles area, southwestern Ontario, and we have assets as well in Europe. We've also moved into the offshore wind farm, which I believe we just put online about 450 megawatts of wind power. But what you're here to hear about today is PowertoGas. So back in 2011, Enbridge was looking at ways to store energy. And we investigated a lot of different technologies. We looked at batteries, flywheels, compressed air. We looked at everything. And in the end, one of our guys came back and said, hey, why don't we look at this great technology they have in Europe? And we go, what is that? He says, it's called PowertoGas. And we're like, what is PowertoGas? So just like you, if you don't know about it, that's how we felt. Anyways, long story short, we invested in PowertoGas. And why did we do it? Well, it adds diversification to our renewable energy portfolio. So what exactly is PowertoGas, you may ask? I tried to put it in a very simple way. So if you just read the black portion and the green portion, that is it. It is a process where you take clean electrical power and through an electrolyzer, you electrolyze water and you convert that power into hydrogen and oxygen. We release the oxygen, we keep the hydrogen because the hydrogen is a very, very good energy carrier. So In simplest terms, what it is you take electrical power, you dunk it into water, it boils the water, it liberates oxygen and it liberates hydrogen. We collect the hydrogen for future use. So that's really is it. And the intent for us is to store this for future use. So you have things like wind and solar that are non-dispatchable, meaning that Mother Nature will blow whenever it will, the sun will shine whenever, but you need to have a way to collect this energy. And the way we do that is with PowertoGas. We can store it and use that energy in the form of hydrogen to power buses, trains, heat buildings, etc. Another reason why we're doing this, it helps us achieve our vision. We want to be a leader in the low-carbon energy sector. It diversifies our portfolio, our renewable portfolio of wind. We have turbo expanders, we have things like, we have solar, we have geothermal. We have a lot of different things that we're working on. And this is part of broadening that portfolio. It's also, as I mentioned here, part of our long-term strategy to generate organic growth in this sector as well. Why hydrogen? Well, hydrogen is a very flexible energy carrier. And one of the big things for PowertoGas is it gives you an intertie between the electrical grid and the natural gas grid. How? You can take any excess electricity you may have, you can convert that to hydrogen and store it potentially in large scale in the natural gas grid. You don't have to build anything else. The grid is there, you can use it to store it, and then when you need to use it, you can repurpose that gas for use. So we took a two-part approach. The first part we did was we had to demonstrate to the ISO, the Independent Electricity System Operator, that one, we can take the electrical power and we can generate hydrogen from that. The second part is we had to show them that we can, once we convert it, they can use it to balance the electrical grid. And that's one of the pivotal points with this technology. It's extremely fast responsive. It's as fast as a battery, if not slightly faster, I'd like to say. And what they do is they use that to balance the frequency regulation on the electrical grid. And then the second part, what we did was, once we've converted the electrical energy into hydrogen, we are looking at how we can use it to lower the carbon intensity of the natural gas grid. And you do so by injecting a little bit of the hydrogen into it. In some places in Europe, they're doing 10, going up to 20%. We're limiting ours, as you will see further on. So how we do this? Well, we decided to look at who was really good in the industry, and within Canada there are lots. In the end, we settled with a company called Hydrogenics. And Hydrogenics, if you don't know who they are, they've been at this for about 70 years combined, and they're based in Mississauga, Ontario. So we formed a joint venture with them, and we created, at our training operations center in Markham, what we call the Markham Energy Storage Facility. This is the first utility-scale plant of its kind in North America. And the outcome of this was to validate three things. One, ancillary support for the grid. Two, that we can generate hydrogen. And three, that we can store it for future use. And we've done all that. So to utilize the plant and the hydrogen produced, I mentioned ancillary service. So for us, it's controllable variable load. So we can use this to help modulate the frequency on the electrical grid, and the ISO does that. The plant runs autonomously. There's no one in the plant. They send a signal to it, and that signal dictates how the plant runs. You can use it for fuel for zero-emission vehicle, heating, feedstock. You can use it for a lot of stuff. The second part is to take a comprehensive look at it, and we look at safety, reliability, operational risk, and before we can begin injection into the natural gas grid. So we look at everything upstream. Upstream meaning everything that's coming into our pipe that brings the gas in before we send the pipe to homes and businesses. So valves, fittings, pipe, gaskets, any wetted area that the hydrogen is going to touch. We got to make sure that it will not deteriorate in any way, shape, or form. And we spent the last 2 years studying that, looking at what our counterparts in Europe has done, so we don't reinvent the wheel. So with that, I want to just give you a very quick look at the plant itself. It's been operational since 2018. This is the plant here, and this used to be, in blunt terms, our garbage building. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it's so flexible that we could put it in this really small space. So picture one of those bins that show up on the street when your neighbor's doing construction or yourself. That's how big this thing is, the width of that truck. And that's what we house it in, 3 of those spaces. And the bottom picture there shows you the inside of the building. It's only 9 meters by 14 meters. The plant is 2 megawatts nominal, 2.5 max. And on the same footprint, we can expand that plant to 5 megawatts. The plant produces about 1,000 kilograms of hydrogen a day. It is the largest of its kind in North America. It's the only one, by the way. There are bigger ones coming online. And it produces real pure hydrogen. It's 99.99% pure. And with another module, we can get it to SAE grade, automotive grade, which is 99.9999% pure. I had to do that because I sometimes mix up my fingers. Now, with the ISO, they're contracted between 1.05 and plus or minus 1.05 megawatts. It's highly efficient. It's very, very fast response. This thing will respond from full load to no load in less than a millisecond. And that's what the ISO is looking for. This just shows you a very quick picture of what's in the plant. On the left, you can see the rectification system. And all this does is it takes the power and turns it from AC to DC. The switch gear is beneath. There's a cooling tower. And then you have the balance of the plant that houses the pumps. And it also has the water purification system. So the way it works is the ISO sends a signal. When this signal comes out, it triggers the electrolyzer. There's no moving part in this. An electrolyzer is simply, if you want to, in simple terms, it's a fuel cell in reverse. This is the signal they send. They send us an automatic generated signal, and it's done randomly by an algorithm. We have to match this signal, and it comes every 2 seconds. Our plant can respond in milliseconds, and when it does, we have to sit on it. This is what it looks like. We match it exactly. Typically, you get this from a battery or a flywheel. We can match it to the T. What are some of the opportunities? Well, once you've done this, you can inject it into the natural gas grid. You can lower the content. So just like with Bullfrog Power, anybody, you can get gas that has a lower carbon content. We can use it for clean fuel, buses, trains, trucks, long haul, fuel cell vehicles, which they're selling in California. Toyota has quite a few. There are quite a few coming to Montreal. And you can use it for dispatchable power and low carbon heating. So to move forward and to close out, we need further scientific research. We need to investigate other benefits. And we want to proliferate the technology. That's how you drive the cost down. That's all I have for today. If you have questions, you can raise them with me. But this is how you can contact me. Thank you.
All right, do we have any questions here for Sam? Could I ask you to step up to one of the microphones? There's one right over here, and there should be one right over here somewhere.
Hi, I'm Danny Harvey from the University of Toronto. I think you said you went from full to no load in a millisecond. How fast does it go from no load to full load?
It's still within milliseconds, and that's something that we have, it's in our contract with the ISO that we have to have very fast response. We also have to be available, give you a little bit more, 99% of the time. And meaning that when I talk to them, I'll say, well, how do you guys come up with the schedule? We can't figure out the schedule. And I say, well, it's done by an algorithm. The computer does it. But we have to be available, and it does respond within that time frame.
Good morning. I'm David Booz from Booz Engineering. I'm just curious if if the sale of hydrogenics has had an impact on your project.
No, it hasn't. So far, they have left them alone. Cummins has, if you have been following the market, they have purchased hydrogenics. And no, it has not impacted us. As a matter of fact, we continue to work together. Any other question?
One more regarding the storage, how you store the hydrogen. Plus, is it suitable for commercial or hospitals, or is it strictly for power generation?
Currently, we're only doing it for power. It can be used for anything. As I mentioned, it can be 99.9999% pure. I think I went 5 instead of 4, sorry. But it's very pure hydrogen. Right now, we're focused on long-haul trucking, where FCEVs use it for, you can use it through a fuel cell to produce electrical power. There's lots you can do with it. And we're looking at all the different avenues.
Hi there. What do you think is the limiting factor of the technology? Is it the availability of surplus power or something else?
I think one of the main thing for it is the cost of electrical power. Electrical power is the main ingredient for electrolyzed hydrogen, and the cost of electricity is quite high. So the beauty about this, one of the reasons why we jumped at this technology is because you could run this during the off-peak times. So to avoid things like the global adjustment, you could work, the plan could be such that you run it 24 hours, or you run it only during the time when there isn't peak demand on the electrical grid. So it gives you that flexibility. But the electrical component is probably the biggest thing.
Cool. Thanks.
All right, I'm going to run away before... No. If you have any more questions, I'm sitting right here. Come and ask, or catch me at the break. Thank you very, very much.